Tonight, speed bump, a renewed push for peace with Iran stalls.
When they want, they can call me. We have all the cards.
President Trump cancels plans to send top U.S. envoys to Pakistan.
I'm Imtiaz Tayyab in Islamabad, where President Trump's abrupt decision to call off a second round of talks with Iran has left mediators scrambling and diplomacy in doubt.
I'm Charlie D'Agata in Tel Aviv. The ceasefire holds, but the fighting goes on.
Also tonight, boycott over.
I'm Torian Small. For the first time, Donald Trump is attending the White House Correspondents Association dinner as president. Will it be roast or toast?
Murder charges.
Held without bond.
I'm Cristian Benavides in Florida, where a 26-year-old is facing murder charges in the deaths of 2 university students. What the brother of one of the victims told us.
Wildfires rage. In Georgia, more than 120 homes destroyed, nearly 1,000 more at risk.
Tornado in front of us.
While violent weather has Oklahoma in the bullseye again.
I'm meteorologist Andrew Kozak. Large hail and strong tornadoes as weekend storms take aim. New details on who's threatened right now.
Jet fuel shortage.
I'm Ian Lee in Burbank. California flyers feel the squeeze first. What it means for your summer getaway.
All that, plus marking a milestone on Route 66. This couple celebrating their anniversary and the highway centennial in a car as old as the road.
The speedometer doesn't work. The odometer doesn't work.
This is the CBS Weekend News from New York with Jerika Duncan.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us on this Saturday. Today, President Trump canceled plans for his top envoys, Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner, to travel to Pakistan for negotiations with Iran aimed at ending the war. The president spoke in Florida right before returning to Washington, D.C.
So we're not going to spend 15 hours in airplanes all the time going back and forth to be giving a document that was not good enough. And so we'll deal by telephone, and they can call us anytime they want.
Tonight, Iran's foreign minister who left Pakistan is questioning whether the U.S. is serious about diplomacy. CBS's Imtiaz Tayyab is in Islamabad and leads us off tonight. Imtiaz.
Jerika, good evening. Well, Pakistani mediators are reeling after President Trump abruptly canceled the trip by his special envoy Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner here to Islamabad. Now, the move has also thrown the shaky Pakistan-brokered ceasefire into doubt. Now, Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi was here in the capital for nearly 20 hours of talks with Pakistani leaders, where sources tell us he delivered Tehran's conditions to restart negotiations and end the war. But President Trump's decision to scrap the talks now risks deepening the stalemate between Washington and Tehran as tensions in the Strait of Hormuz rise, with both sides blocking parts of the waterway where 20% of the world's oil passes. And so what we're seeing tonight is a high-stakes game of diplomatic chicken, with neither side willing to blink. And the concern is if talks don't resume soon, Jerika, this could slide back into all-out war.
Yes, so much on the line. Imtiaz Tayyab, thank you. Tonight, the ceasefire with Iran remains in place, but shots are still being fired in the conflict. CBS's Charlie D'Agata reports from Tel Aviv. Charlie.
Good evening, Jerika. Tonight, this region is on a knife edge with the apparent collapse of talks in Pakistan, while on another front, Israel and Lebanon, there have been multiple ceasefire violations which threaten to complicate negotiations between the U.S., Israel, and Iran. Smoke billows above villages in southern Lebanon. Israeli airstrikes firing on suspected Hezbollah targets even after the White House announced a 3-week extension to a fragile ceasefire. A father clutches a photo album clambering over rubble after a strike killed his family. They were all blown to pieces, he says. My niece, my sister, my mother, my cousin, all killed. The brief respite allowed some Lebanese families to bury their loved ones, albeit in temporary graves marked by little more than concrete blocks and wooden posts. Israeli forces were seen patrolling parts of southern Lebanon, arguing it's a necessary buffer to keep Hezbollah militants from striking distance. Releasing this video of Hezbollah fighters taking up positions on a rooftop before coming under fire.
They call themselves the defenders of Lebanon, but
They obviously are the defenders of Iran, chose war against Israel, while Israel and the U.S. were fighting Iran.
And that's why this is all related, Jerika. The U.S. ceasefire with Iran is Israel's ceasefire, too. So when Hezbollah joined that fight, that became Israel's problem, too. If a more permanent agreement can be reached, that will impact a more permanent deal with Iran. They go hand in hand.
Charlie D'Agata in Tel Aviv, thank you so much. Tonight, a new first for the commander-in-chief. He's attending the White House Correspondents' Dinner as president. CBS's Torian Small is at the White House with all the details. Torian.
Good evening, Jerika. The president avoided this dinner and both of his terms prior to tonight due to his adversarial relationship with the press. He accepted this year's invitation in honor of America's 250th anniversary, but he has attended previously as a guest. In 2011, Mr. Trump attended as a celebrity while he was on a high-profile conspiracy-driven quest to get then-President Barack Obama to release his birth certificate. Trump was relentlessly roasted by the former president and comedian Seth Meyers.
Say what you will about Mr. Trump, he certainly would bring some change to the White House. See what we've got up there.
Trump last attended the dinner in 2015.
And Donald Trump is here. Still.
This year, the association hired a mentalist instead of a comedian. Historically, the dinner has a tradition of ribbing the sitting president, acknowledging the tension between the press and the president that they cover.
It's really important to be able to laugh in his job.
Trump, who has for years called the press the enemy of the people, finally agreed to attend. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt gave a preview on Friday.
His speech will be very entertaining. That is what I will tell you. So everyone should tune in.
This event is meant to be a celebration of a free and independent press, and CBS's senior White House correspondent Weijia Zhang is this year's president of the White House Correspondents Association. Jerika?
Torian Small at the White House, thank you. To Chicago now. Today, one police officer was killed and another critically injured after a shooting inside of a hospital. It happened when a man they brought into the ER for treatment somehow got a gun and opened fire. The suspect fled the hospital but was later arrested. Tonight, the city's police superintendent called the shooting a devastating loss.
But our officers go out there every single day and they do this work knowing that when they go into these environments that they're not safe. But they accept that, and that's the work that they do.
Tonight, law enforcement from across the city lined up for the solemn procession honoring the 38-year-old murdered officer. Today, a 26-year-old man made his first court appearance. Police charged him with the premeditated murder of 2 University of South Florida doctoral students. CBS's Christian Benavides has been following this story and has new developments on this grisly case.
Jerika, the suspect was in court today after a dramatic arrest yesterday, 8 days after those university students first went missing.
Do I have Hisham Abu Gharbi here?
Hisham Abu Gharbi was shackled and wearing a protective gown during his first appearance in front of a Tampa judge Saturday. Friday, Hillsborough County deputies took him into custody after he came out of his residence shirtless and wearing a bath towel. He's facing 2 counts of first-degree murder with a weapon in the deaths of Florida doctoral students Jamil Limon and Nahida Bristi.
The suspect, Hisham, was a roommate of Zamil.
A close friend of the pair said Limon had raised concerns about his roommate in the past.
Some mental issue, was kind of psycho.
In a 2023 protective order granted by Hillsborough County and obtained by CBS News, his brother alleged Abu Gharbi would start screaming in the middle of the night about how he is God and we should all bow down to him. Police say Limon's remains were found Friday on a nearby bridge. Bristi's brother, Jahid Dranto, told us overnight detectives informed him his sister's body may never be found, but they've determined she is likely dead based on evidence from the crime scene.
My home is just broken.
The sheriff's office says that they are still searching for Bristi. Meantime, the suspect is due back in court on Tuesday. Jerika.
So sad. Christian Benavides, thank you. To the weather now. Tonight, more than 21 million people could experience violent storms. Oklahoma is in the bullseye once again for the worst of it. A powerful EF4 tornado roared through the state this week. FEMA officials were there today to assess the damage. At least 20 large wildfires in the south are burning uncontained across several states. Drought-stricken Georgia is where at least 120 homes have burned. Nearly 1,000 are threatened. And in Florida, at least 26,000 acres have been scorched. Let's check in with meteorologist Andrew Kozak. He is tracking where the danger is headed next. Andrew.
Yeah, good evening, Jerika. A very powerful system. That's what we're watching across the midsection of the country tonight. It's this area across southern Oklahoma in the red. That is a moderate 4 out of 5 risk for heavy rain, gusty winds, large hail, and an isolated tornado. It moves to the north tomorrow, Wichita, Salina, Kansas City, and we're not done yet because by Monday, this entire system moves to the north and the east, places like Chicago and St. Louis, under the gun for severe weather. Now, for tonight, it's going to be moving late night after dark, so we're really are going to keep our eye on places like eastern Oklahoma, Texas, and the Arklatex region. Resets and recharges for Sunday, and then the storms fire up as we head into your Sunday night. We've talked about fire danger, critical fire danger in the desert Southwest, Texas, and especially New Mexico. We're going to watch this for gusty winds, dry soils, and of course, we talked about the fire danger in the southeast. Jerika, the good news, it's not the rain that we need, but at least some rain is helping places in Georgia and Florida for Sunday.
Good to hear. Andrew Kozak, thank you. Tonight, airlines worldwide are taking some extraordinary measures to keep flying and stay in business. They're facing soaring costs, much of it driven by the conflict with Iran. CBS's Ian Lee joins us now from the airport in Burbank with why California in particular is feeling the pinch first. Ian.
Good evening, Jerika. California already pays the most at the pump for gas, and now it's paying some of the highest prices for jet fuel as experts predict troubled skies ahead for summer travelers.
With the flow of oil through the Straits of Hormuz at a trickle, thousands of miles away, California is feeling the squeeze. Its supply of jet fuel has dropped 25%, a 2-year low. Clint Henderson monitors airlines for the points guy.
Why does California seem to be worse off than other states?
All the jet fuel that they use is imported from Asia, and Asia's oil products come from the Middle East.
At LAX today, jet fuel costs just shy of $13 per gallon, compared to roughly $12 at New York's JFK and $11 at Chicago's O'Hare. Around the country, the price of jet fuel has risen nearly 70% since the war began, hurting airlines like Spirit, already on the verge of liquidation, and passing extra costs onto passengers.
Like going home for Thanksgiving is like an insane amount of money.
I'm telling folks to book through the rest of the year, even Christmas.
Jerika, Henderson gave us a hot tip. If you book a main cabin ticket or higher class now and the price drops before your flight, you can notify the airline and get that difference as a rebate credit.
Good to know, Ian. Thank you so much. Still to come on the CBS Weekend News. It's an eye catcher why the Sphere in Las Vegas is coming full circle. But first, you're going to stick around for this story.
I'm Chanel Call in Atlanta. The demand for energy-guzzling data centers may be supercharging your utility bill. That's next on the CBS Weekend News.
This week, Maine's governor vetoed a bill that would have made the state the first to ban construction of new data centers. As CBS's Chanel Call reports, the move comes at a time of growing resistance in several states to the booming artificial intelligence industry.
I keep the doors closed all the time.
It's a sunny afternoon in Atlanta, Georgia. But inside Carolyn Kane's 3,000 square foot home, it's cold.
I'm walking around in a ski suit, trying to stay warm in the winter. My fur jackets.
It's just one of the ways Kane has tried to beat her skyrocketing electric bills.
So effectively your bill had almost doubled in like 2 years.
Yeah.
She's now turned off her heat and water, leaving much of this home hard to live in.
So where do you live right now?
I live in a little apartment in the back.
Is Carolyn's story unique?
Carolyn's story is not unique. So this is the data center, and I'd like you to...
Patty Duran founded nonprofit advocacy group Georgians for Affordable Energy. She's been tracking the cost of electricity in the state for over a decade.
The average bill for an average customer used to be about $150 a month. The average bill now is $225.
A CBS News analysis found Georgia Power, the largest energy provider in the state, imposed 6 rate hikes in the last 3 years, during which time the Vogtle nuclear power plant came online and Georgia saw a boom in data centers. Data centers Duran says came to Georgia for discounted power.
So data centers are actually paying less for electricity than
Far
residents?
less.
Across the country, new data centers are driving up utility bills in at least 13 states. This analysis found Americans who live near data centers are paying as much as 267% more for energy than 5 years ago. And in the next 5 years, the amount of energy consumed by commercial buildings like data centers in Georgia will more than double.
Data centers will add billions of dollars to costs to electricity rates in Georgia if we don't get better protection than we have right now.
Within the last year, Georgia Power announced a rate freeze and agreed to use revenue from large customers like data centers to lower costs for residents. Georgia Power denies passing the cost of data centers on to others.
There is no risk that residential customers will end up paying for the costs of this large growth, including data centers.
But for Georgians like Kane, already taking extreme measures,
I guess maybe it is time, give up my home.
It might be too late. Chanel Call, CBS News, Atlanta, Georgia.
Still ahead on the CBS Weekend News, video of a suspected car thief and his horrifying attempt to escape. Stay with us. It may now be as iconically Las Vegas as the Strip itself. The Sphere, which was built $1 billion over budget, is now a blockbuster hit. The venue is the highest grossing arena in the world with $379 million on 1.7 million tickets sold last year, according to Pollster. Tonight, new video of a death-defying getaway attempt. It happened on the Bay Bridge connecting San Francisco and Oakland. Police say a suspected car thief climbed underneath the bridge, then began hanging to beams about 20 stories above the water. He eventually climbed back up, and as you guessed it, he was arrested. Next on the CBS Weekend News, a road trip on Route 66. But first, a look back at this day in history.
2,400 miles from the sea. The biggest waterway cut since the Panama Canal is complete.
The United States mounted a military operation into Iran last night to rescue the American hostages, but it failed.
After years of delay and last-minute glitches, the revolutionary Hubble Space Telescope finally is deployed in space tonight.
We end tonight with the trip of a lifetime on the most American of roads, Route 66. In our weekend journal, CBS's Noel Brennan in Chicago shows us how a couple and the historic highway are both marking milestones.
Where Route 66 begins,
there it is.
So too does a love story.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Ed and Jackie Fogel got married and immediately put in the miles.
Let's just do Route 66. We grew up on it, didn't we?
They hit the road for their honeymoon from Chicago to Santa Monica.
59 Cadillac convertible, top down every inch of the way.
As Route 66 celebrates 100 years, the Fogels mark a milestone of their own.
25 years. In June.
They're ready for Route 66 again.
But this time, let's do it in a 100-year-old, what's called an orphan car. 1926 Hupmobile.
So how many miles does this thing have on it?
Oh, who knows? Who knows? The speedometer doesn't work. The odometer doesn't work. Well, there's no fuel gauge.
Fuel gauge doesn't work.
The Fogels towed it in a trailer from Tulsa, Oklahoma to Chicago with help from Tom Lord.
Friend and mechanic, yep.
Tom doesn't feel like a third wheel because the Fogels really need him.
Go ahead, do it again.
The 100-year-old Hupmobile has the hiccups.
It was okay right down to idle, and then it went over.
Okay, I'm there.
Tom tinkers and consults with a fellow mechanic on the phone.
Base of the carburetor.
And it's the carburetor that appears to be the culprit.
We need to go to an auto parts store.
Ed arranges an Uber trip for car parts.
Okay, thank you.
And Jackie tries to enjoy this first unexpected bump in the road.
The mechanics didn't need my help, so I'll just look at the beautiful scenery here at Navy Pier.
The adventure isn't going the way they planned.
You're fine, you're fine.
But whether it's thousands of miles or just a few feet, they push through it together.
That's going to be good enough.
Noel Brennan, CBS News, Chicago.
Gotta love it. Well, tonight the Fogels are nearing St. Louis. They shared this video with us showing the original brick-covered roadway of Route 66. Enjoy the journey. That is the CBS Weekend News for this Saturday. I'm Jerika Duncan in New York. We thank you so much for watching. Have a great night, and we'll see you tomorrow.